Hey, decision makers. Okay, so this is the SDA Bible Study, Wednesday, January 20th, 2021, and it is nothing to fear when we fear God Himself. And the Bible reference is Isaiah 8:11 to 15. This is what the Lord says to me with His strong hand upon me, warning me not to follow the way of His people, of the way of this people. Do not call conspiracy everything this people calls a conspiracy. Do not fear what they fear, and do not dread it. The Lord Almighty is the one you are to regard as holy. He is the one you are to fear. He is the one you are to dread. He will be a holy place for both Israel and Judah. For both Israel and Judah, he will be a stone that causes people to stumble, and a rock that makes them fall. And for the people of Jerusalem, he will be a trap and a snare. Many of them will stumble, they will fall and be broken. They will be snared and captured. Okay, so that's a lot. So that's the reading for that. Okay, so here we go. How do you understand the idea of fearing God? What does that mean, especially in light of the command for us to love God as well? Okay. Jesus replied, this is the Matthew 22:37 reference, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. So, how do you understand the idea of fearing God? Now, fear can be reverential awe, and so it's not very complicated. For the person who knows love, or is open to it, or however that is best explained, yeah, I mean, reverential awe is just one of those things where you highly admire and you are awestruck by it. It's just like quite amazing, if I can put it so simply. It's so reverential awe. And the other part is when they're referencing in the first part of the reading at the top there, 8:11 to 15 in Isaiah, they're talking about dread. And I looked up on wolframalpha.com. Dread is fearful expectation or anticipation. And so where fear means reverential awe, that means like an expectation or anticipation of reverential awe. So if you know a nice place to see a sunset and you're so excited because it's, a hot day, there's some light clouds and maybe the lights casting on there causing some coloring, and maybe there are just a number of things that it's like you're excited, you're stoked, you're ready for it, and you anticipate that it'll be amazing, and you're just full of dread because you're expecting or anticipating to have reverential awe. So reverential awe is probably what people, like parents, like, when they have children, they are very excited. They've done something amazing, and they're astounded, and they just are so excited to be given these gifts that keeps on giving, and it is amazing. So, how do I understand the idea of fearing God? Dread, expecting or anticipating fear, that reverential awe, and yeah, it can be such small things. That's what makes it so profound. Is it's just like that whole, like when a person smiles going by, or you see a friend, or that loving interaction. It just it's so it's just very amazing. So what does that mean, especially in in light of the command for us to love God. So I think it's just basically what I was describing. What does that mean? It means love. And that's from virtues.com type of love. Like as a virtue. Love as a virtue. There's like 70 something, I don't know, like a lot of virtues. And love is one of them. And it's just a constant feeling of affection or something. I don't actually know the denotation of it, but it's not complicated. And yeah, it's achievable. What does that mean, especially in light of the command? So yeah, I guess that's all that is. Do I have any notes for that? Let's see. So I see fearing God as reverential awe for and to God. So yeah, I see fearing God as reverential awe for God. My notes are a bit jumbled. I see fearing God as reverential awe for and to God. To me it means if you imagine God as a perfect white light bathing you in amazement, imagine deeper and make another color and another with sparkles and a hugging embrace with love surrounding you. So just all the good stuff. So yeah, how? That's what I was at there. How do you understand? And then doesn't the idea that we should fear God contradict 1 John 4:18? So when I look at 1 John 4:18, it is, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. Now, underneath there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, for fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not reached perfection in love. NRSV. And for me, there's just like a confusion of translation or something, because what it sounds like they're describing to me is there is no being scared in love. Perfect love casts out being scared. Being scared is like a punishment, and whoever is scared is not experiencing perfect love. There is no contradiction when word translation has the proper interpretation. So anyway, yeah, it's just a little confusion, I think, maybe. And yeah, and that covers that. As Christians, we aren't to love the things of the world, the things people. Anyway, I'll try reading it just as it is, but it confuses me the way they're together. As Christians, we aren't to love the things of the world, the things people of the world themselves love. 1 John 2:15. Thinking then along parallel lines as Christians, are there things the world fears, reverential awe, that we Christians should not have reverential awe for? And for me, what I got is, if the question is, are there things we should not have reverential awe for, then I say no, because if it is not reverential, it is not reverential awe. Only reverence is revered. So, or is reverable. Like it's just one of those things where if it's not what it is, if it's not something, it's not, and that's all it is. It's something else. That's what I'm trying to say. So at the same time, and then this one, the if so, what are they, and why shouldn't we fear them? I didn't answer that, because this if so, it's kind of like a if yes, then what, but I put no, so I didn't answer that question. At the same time, what things does the world not fear that we Christians should? So, what does the world not have reverential awe for that we Christians should? And, it's the should, right? But from what I was thinking, it's what does the world? That's the question, and the answer I got is just discovering authenticity and making space for that journey. So for people who had a past of whatever it is, they're where they're at now, and they're kind of just like, oh, like I don't need to be bound by these conditions or see through that lens anymore. Like they're just like they're growing, and so they grew, and then they didn't adjust in a way that maybe is true for themselves at that point or at that time. And so again, like the term authenticity, like it comes from the definition they use from the virtues list at virtuesforlife.com. So yeah, that's how that goes. And there are some readings here. So the 1 John 2:15. Yeah, do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, is that just maybe cut off? Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not with them. And to me, it almost sounds like, do not sin the world or anything in the world. If anyone sins the world, love for the Father is not in them. That's kind of how I interpreted that. Like, it just made a little bit more sense to me that way. I don't usually do the readings of all of them, but do not be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. So, to me, hell is the damaging situations you create. Obviously, there are people in the world that are captive, and I pray for them to be freed, right? It's a whole other thing. And, well, just keep faith and elect good people, I guess. Be active in your community and know your neighbor. So this Jeremiah 10:2, this is what the Lord says: do not learn the ways of the nations or be terrified by signs in the heavens, though the nations are terrified by them. I don't really know exactly what that means. Like people secretly are into the zodiac or something, and they're like, oh, well, this lines up with that. So, oh, Mercury in retrograde, or like all that kind of stuff. And they're like, oh, no, no. Like, who knows? I don't know. But, yeah, don't be terrified by the heavens. So, by signs in the heavens. And do not learn the ways of the nations. And what's interesting is it has nations plural, right? So maybe it's like, have a nation and stick with it, if I can be so bold to say. Yeah. So anyway, I think in the last one, so that was that. So Jeremiah, for the practices of the peoples are worthless. They cut a tree out of the forest, and a craftsman shapes it with his chisel. I don't know if that has something to do with idols. I don't recommend it, idols. I think, again, reverential awe is appreciating the skill to a high level. Idol is mind's gone, and it's servitude, but in a slave way. And, well, we were all slaves as children, so time to move on, right? So, I guess that's everything for that. Bye.